Hi, my name is Sarah and welcome to Move Movement Yoga. Today's video is a little evening flow that you can do at the end of the day to help you wind down. It's going to be nice and simple, nice and gentle, and you won't need any props. I do encourage, if you have candles or incense or fairy lights, to utilize these to really help you set the space, because we're looking to find a little bit of grounding and releasing of the energy from the day. Also, if you like this video, please be sure to give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel to support the channel, and if you'd like to connect, feel free to leave me a comment or a question down below. I'll also leave my Instagram and my Facebook page if you'd like to connect with me in these places. Anyways, when you're ready, get your mat, get your space all set up, and we will begin. So let's begin the class today in a wide-kneed child's pose. So take your knees out wide to the edges of the mat, bring your big toes together, allow your hips to sink down towards your heels, and just begin to walk your arms forward. Nice and slow, begin to lower your chest down and allow your forehead to come down to the floor. See if you can just begin to soften into the body. Just noticing if there's any tension throughout the neck and the jaw. And just beginning to utilize the breath as you use the breath to ground you down into the earth. Nice, deep, rich breaths in and out through the nose. And with each exhale, just really focusing on letting go of the energy of the day. Making a little bit more space for that energy to move through and to release. Take one more cycle of breath. Then slowly begin to walk your hands back just a little. Keep your legs as they are. We're just going to stay in our child's pose, but we're just going to add on a little twist. So I want you to lift up the right arm, take it up towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, weave your right arm under your left as you drop your right shoulder down and your right ear down. You can keep your left fingertips where they are, or if it feels okay, you can walk them a little forward. So once again, just feeling the weight drawing you down towards the earth. Feeling a little stretch through the shoulders. Then nice and slow, begin to walk yourself back up. And let's take the twist to the other side. So ground the right hand down. Inhale, reach your left arm up, take your eye gaze up. And then slowly begin to weave your arm down, drop your left shoulder, drop your left ear. Keep the right arm where it is, or begin to walk the right fingertips forward. Once again, just notice your relationship to gravity and see if you can find a little bit of softening. Come back to that nice gentle breath in and out through the nose. And slowly let's come back out. From here, align yourself up into your tabletop position. And we're just going to take a couple of rounds of our moving cat-cow. So I want you to begin by sinking your belly, shining your heart forward as you draw your hips back. Keep the arch through the spine and then draw your hips towards your heels. As soon as you arrive here, draw your chin towards your chest as you round up through the spine and push your way back towards a tabletop position. Slowly sink the belly down, shine the heart forward, and then draw the hips back. Take a couple of rounds like this, just riding the breath, drawing chin to chest, coming back towards the top of the mat. Exhale, sink the belly, shine the heart, draw the hips back. Once again, just riding that breath, riding the wave, just finding a little bit of spaciousness, fluidity through the spine. Just exploring and be curious about the movement and the motion of your body and your breath. Then when you're ready, nice and slow, let's come back into our tabletop position. And then from here, we're going to make our way just slightly forward, hands slightly forward, wider than shoulder width. We're going to draw our chin towards our chest, and we're going to lower all the way down into our Sphinx pose. So belly comes down into the mat. You're going to walk your hands forward, just checking in with your elbows, making sure that they're stacked underneath your shoulders, that your arms are parallel, and that your hands are spread nice and wide. Untuck your toes and begin to push the tops of the feet in towards the mat. Magnetize your ankles towards one another and feel a slight activation as you draw your pelvic bone towards the floor, activating the glutes. I want you to take an inhale into the shape and just lift the heart up just a little bit higher. Find a few rounds of breath. And if this shape feels okay and you would like to take your stretch just a little further, you can actually begin to draw your chin towards your chest. So just allowing the head to drop down, feeling a stretch through the back of the neck. As you continue to breathe, I want you now to soften through the legs. So release the tension and just notice the difference between effort and ease. Use the breath to comb through the body, noticing any areas of resistance or tension. And if you find any place, guide the breath deeper into that area. Then when you're ready, nice and slow, begin to tuck your toes, plant your hands by your side, by your chest, and we're going to slowly push back. Just for a moment into our child's pose, you can keep your toes tucked, drop the crown of the head down. Take a nice long inhale through the nose. Sighing, cleansing, exhale through the mouth. Then nice and slow, begin to rise, and we're going to come into our first downward facing dog. If you can hear little tweets, just be reminded that my yoga room is shared space with my little bird, Venti. So you may hear him in the background. He's just chatting to himself. Hopefully that just adds a little to the experience and doesn't take anything away for you. Anyways, when you arrive in your downward facing dog, make sure that your hands are spread nice and wide. If you feel tight through the back of the legs and your heels are lifted, that's okay. You can find a little pedaling. I want you to work to keep a nice straight spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone. If you find that you're rounding through the spine, bend your knees a bit more and work to draw your chest towards your toes. Take a nice long inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Then nice and slow, begin to float the right leg up towards the ceiling. Come nice and high into the ball of the left foot. Draw your knee in towards your chest and step to the best of your ability, your right foot towards the top of the mat. Drop your back knee down, untuck your back toes. Reach your heart towards the top of your mat for an inhale. And then as you exhale, settle a little bit deeper into your feet, into your front thigh. Then on your next breath, take an inhale, begin to sweep your arms up. Take your eye gaze up towards the ceiling. Then as you exhale, lean your chest forward, sweep your arms back. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lean forwards and sweep the arms back. Last one, inhale. And then on your next exhale, bring your fingertips back down onto the mat. Walk your front foot to the edge of your mat. And then bring your hands down about shoulder width apart. Fingers spread nice and wide. So now we move into our lizard pose. So if you have a block, you can bring your hands underneath the block if that feels comfortable. But if not, I just want you to work to find a little softness through the hip area. allowing the right hip to open up a little bit. If you want to take the stretch further, you can also come onto the knife edge of your foot and just allow the knee to fall out just a little bit. Find your breath once again. And notice once again if there's any areas of tension or resistance. And if there are, you can guide your breath into those areas. Massage the experience with your breath. Then nice and slow. If you're on the knife edge of your front foot, I just want you to bring your foot to come back onto the sole of the foot. Then from here, we're going to shift our hips back into a variation of our half splits. So begin to shift your hips back, straighten your front leg, and then come onto the heel of the front foot. I want you to flex your toes up towards the ceiling and bring your hands onto the left side of your front leg. Keep a little bend in the elbows, and then as you inhale, lengthen your spine, draw the crown of your head forward as you draw your tailbone back. And then as you exhale, fold just a little as you bend your elbows, drop the crown of your head. 2 more waves like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Last one, exhale. Begin to shift the weight forward once again. Plant your foot, bring your hands down onto your mat, tuck your back toes, and push back into your downward facing dog. Pedal through your feet. Just notice the difference in the sides, and then take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Take it to the other side. Inhale, left leg floats up, come nice and high onto the ball of the right foot. Draw your knee in towards your chest, and to the best of your ability, step your foot towards the top of the mat. Drop your back knee down and untuck your back toes. Take a moment just to draw your chest towards the top of the mat. Feel your heart elongate forward. Take a nice long inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, settle the energy into the soles of the feet. On your next inhale, begin to sweep your arms up. Find your low lunge. Maybe take your eye gaze up. And then as you exhale, lean your chest forward and sweep your arms back. 2 more like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, rise. And then exhale, slowly bring the hands down. And then walk your left foot to the edge of the mat. Once again, your hands come onto the right side of the foot, stacked underneath the shoulders. Keep your chest lifted, but you can settle and find a little softness through the back leg. And then once again, you can stay on the sole of the left foot. Or if you want to take the stretch a little further, come onto the knife edge of the foot as you allow the left knee to fall out towards the side. Once again, just find a few rounds of breath here. Combing the breath through the body and just finding those areas of tension and resistance. And noticing anything that begins to arise and just giving it your full awareness. Then when you're ready, nice and slow, we're going to plant the sole of the foot. Begin to straighten the front leg and shift the hips back until we come into our variation of our half splits. So if you need to, you can walk your hands a little closer towards you. Make sure that the hands are still on the right side. Ground the left heel down and flex the toes up towards the ceiling. As you inhale, you're going to lift your chest a little further, a little higher. Draw the crown of your head towards the top of the mat. Reach your tailbone back. And then as you exhale, you're going to fold just a little, or to the depth that feels okay for you, by bending the elbows. We'll take 2 more waves like this. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Then on your next inhale, shift your weight forward. Walk your hands forward a little bit. Draw your left leg back. And then slowly come up into your downward facing dog. Once again, as soon as you arrive, take a nice cleansing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. From here, you're going to take an inhale, rise nice and high onto the ball of the left foot. Bring your right leg up into the air.
You're going to slowly begin to shift your weight forward as you align your pigeon pose. So right knee comes in front of the right wrist, behind the right wrist, and the foot falls in front of the left thigh. So I want you to first keep your back toes tucked, so you can just focus on having your hips square. So if you notice you're veering off to one side, just really work to draw the left hip forward, right hip back. I want you to take a nice long inhale as you lengthen through your spine, just find a little height. And then as you exhale, you can slowly begin to walk your arms forward. And we're just going to come into our reclined pigeon pose. Now, if you find that this is a little challenging and you have a block, you can bring a block underneath your right sit bone to support you. You also don't have to come all the way down into the forearms. So just find the version that works for you. If you feel that your hips are squared, you can also begin to untuck the back toes. And once again, just bring a little bit more softness to the pose. Just come back to noticing the rhythm of your breath as it moves in through the body and out through the body. Then when you're ready, nice and slow, begin to walk your hands back. You're going to lean to the right side and you're going to draw your left leg forward. So from here, have your left leg extended and then bring the sole of the right foot next to your thigh. So you're creating this little bent knee shape with the right leg. Then from here, you're going to take an inhale, sweep your arms up, find a little length through the crown of your head. And then as you exhale, you're just going to fold wherever you go towards your left toes. Allow the crown of your head to drop, and once again, just release any tension through the legs, and just see if you can settle once again back into the breath. From here, take a nice long inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh to release. See if you can just drop in just a little bit further, and not necessarily deeper into the pose, but just a little deeper into what you feel. Then slowly begin to rise. Walk your hands back towards you. Come just into your tabletop position just to transition, just for a moment. Then walk your hands slightly forward, begin to tuck your toes and come back into your downward facing dog. Take a nice long inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, float the left leg up into the air. Begin to align your pigeon pose as you bring your left knee behind your left wrist and your left foot in front of your right thigh. Walk your right foot back and keep the toes tucked just to check in with yourself, just to make sure your hips are square. If you notice that you're falling off to one side, really work to pull the right hip down, and remember that you can always bring a block underneath your left sit bone to support you. So stay here if this is where you want to stay. If you want to take it a little further, you can begin to lengthen through the spine as you draw up, and then slowly begin to walk your hands forward. If your hips remain square, you can also begin to untuck your back toes, and once again finding a few rounds of breath. Just check in with your forehead or your jaw, and just notice if there is any unnecessary tension that you might be holding on to. Give yourself permission to really slow down, to come back to the grounding energy within you, knowing that you are fully supported here. Slowly begin to walk your hands back, roll onto the left side and bring your back leg forward. Once again, square your chest off towards your right foot, and then just bring the sole of your left foot to your inner thigh. Take an inhale, sweep your arms up, find a little length through the spine, and then as you exhale, just begin to fold over your leg to whatever degree feels comfortable and available to you. I know that one leg for me is a little bit more tight than the other, so just find the space that works for you. Taking another few rounds of breath. Then slowly begin to rise. From here, we're just going to extend both legs out now. And then you're going to bring the soles of the feet together. So depending on how deep you want to feel the stretch through the inner thighs depends on how close you bring your feet. So the further away they are, the gentler the stretch will be. So just once again, find the degree that works for you. I want you to bring your hands onto your ankles. Once again, lift up through the crown of the head and the chest as you find a little height. And then as you exhale, just begin to lower the chest to the degree that works for you. If you have a block or a bolster, once again, any sort of prop that you can use to support your head, you can use this. But once again, it's not really necessary. Just see if you can let gravity take hold of your weight, and just check in to see if you can really soften through all the areas of your body that don't need to be holding on right now. Then when you're ready, nice and slow, begin to rise. Bring the knees in towards one another. And then slowly, let's make our way down onto our back. As soon as you arrive onto your back, just draw your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a really big squeeze. Then you're going to cross the right leg on top of the left. So you want to try and have your knees cross near one another. You're going to work to draw the knees in towards the chest. So you can bring your knees and you can pull the knees in. So this is stage one, but if you would like to take a deeper stretch, you can reach for the knife edges of your feet, bring the back of your head down, and then work to pull the feet down towards the earth. So this is kind of like a reclined shoestring pose, if you're familiar with the pose. Just working and stretching the outer hips. So wherever you are, once again, just see if you can come back to the breath, feeling into the stretch. Then slowly release. Draw both of your knees once again in. Just give yourself a big squeeze. And then let's take the twist to the other side. So this time cross the left knee, left leg over the right. Stage one, just start by pulling the knees in towards you. So you should still feel a stretch here in the outer hip, the left hip specifically. Or if you would like to take it a little further, you grab onto the knife edges of your feet. Take the feet wide and then work to pull the feet down. Take a few breaths in and out through the nose. Just seeing if you can let the back of your head and your lower back remain heavy. And then when you're ready, nice and release. Nice and slow, let's release. Once again, draw the knees in towards the chest. Then from here, you can stay with your hands on your knees, taking your knees out wide and pulling the knees down. Or if you would like to take it to the next stage, you can come into your happy baby. So you can bring your hands onto the knife edges of the feet, or you can grab onto the ankles, wherever you are. See if you can bring the knees wide. Continue to connect the lower part of your back down into the earth, and nice and heavy through the crown of your head. Maybe take a moment to close your eyes. Just give yourself a couple of breaths to start to come inward. Then from here, nice and slow, begin to extend your arms up towards the ceiling and your legs up towards the ceiling, keeping everything nice and soft. So coming into our little dead bug pose, little gentle inversion, allowing the blood to drain back towards the heart, giving the heart a little bit of a break from doing all the wonderful work that it does. Just notice if you start to feel any shaking or tingling. Just sit with it a little longer. Use your breath to really anchor you into whatever it is that you feel, whatever it is that begins to arise. And then nice and slow, bring your hands down by your side, draw your navel in towards your spine, and slowly lower your legs down towards the mat. As soon as you arrive, take your feet out wide, take your arms out wide. Take a nice long cleansing breath in through the nose. Then open your mouth and sigh to release. Use that breath to really drop you into your body. Noticing once again if there is any unnecessary tension that you can choose and afford to let go of. I want you to bring your awareness now just to your breath. Noticing as the breath comes in through the nose and out through the nose. I want you to begin to really deepen that breath. Now you can stay here for as long as you would like, just settling into the body. Otherwise, if you would like to end the class now, feel free. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoy, and I hope to see you in the next video.